There we go. Okay. Sorry, I was making sure a couple of things on my end here. Hello, you fellow dusty dogs and travelers of the out there, and welcome to Spyro Reignited Trilogy. It's been too damn long. As a matter of fact, it's been like a month since I last streamed. Yes, I know I'm currently in the middle of Eastfellow and Felghana Memoir. We will get back to that in a little bit. I wanted to play something that would be relatively quick, as in I think I can finish this one in one stream. I also was just like, I'm tired, I need a game that does not require me to think or act quickly. So that's why we're playing this one instead. So we will get back to Oath and Felghana probably next week. I do have a couple of extra days off, as well as a couple of weird schedule bits that'll allow me to do some stuff like that. So yeah, it'll be a little bit more helpful. Or I might even be able to get back to it tomorrow, because I have a couple of extra days off this week. Couple of extra days off this weekend. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I might be able to do it tomorrow. I might do it next weekend. Who knows? But I was like, I want to get something chill to get back into the streaming groove, so to speak. So yeah, we're doing Spyro. It's not specifically just the whole Reignited trilogy in one go. We're specifically going to be playing one bit. We're going to be playing the first game from here. And we're going to be doing a little bit of a twist on this one. As you can probably tell from my stream title, and I'm going to be putting this in the title of the YouTube as well, we're going to be rating all of the dragons here in the Spyro the Dragon. I am mostly going to be rating them on aesthetics. So we're going to be going through, we're going to be determining, oh my god, why does it get... Hi, Ace! It does that a while. I have no idea what happened. It does that. Yeah, I have not changed my streaming settings, like, at all, and now my internet basically has fucked me over. It just drops out a moment, so yeah. Anyways, we're going to be rating these dragons on a scale of, basically we're going to use the standard school to... Hi, I do have water. Yes, you do see that I have things here, and I have water. There we go. I have taken a sip from a bottle of water, which I might have to refill in between things, but I do have that bottle of water with me. Anyways, so we're going to be rating these dragons on a scale of the standard, like, school rating scale. So we're going to go from F, which is an absolute terrible. We're going to go all the way up through D, C, B, A, and then I'm also adding a top tier, which is S. Obviously because it's Spyro, and two, I think there's some that do fairly well exceed this because they have just stayed in my mind every single time I play this game, and every single time after this game. I just really, really like the looks. So yeah, we're going to be rating all of these, and we're going to see which one of these at the end of it. We're going to tally them all up. We're going to see who gets the highest rating, which dragons got the highest rating, and which area gets the highest rating overall. So let's see how that goes. Starting off. Oh yeah, and we will also be doing this thing a full 120%. Again, this game is not that hard, so yeah.
Okay, rolling.
It's been peaceful here in the 5 worlds, or is it 6?
I hope I have the volume up enough on the cutscenes here, but let me know if I need to.
Or is it 14,000?
What about this Ganasty Ganok character? Now, I understand he's found a
Can also turn on subtitles once it gets to the main.
I'll take that question. Nasty Nork is a simple creature.
Simple?
He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom.
No threat?
Besides, he is ugly.
Ugly? That does it!
Huh? Looks like I've got some things to do.
Those play this game 100 billion times, of course, it's not hard. It's not! It's not really, especially in comparison to the later ones, it's not hard. That being said, you might have a point there, because I do also consider this basically the same thing as Crash Bandicoot. Anyway, Dragon 1, Nestor!
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the artisan world, then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Nasty Nork? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
Alrighty, let me actually go ahead and do something here real quick. I don't like them, but we're putting subtitles on. They just look a little bit too big. But anyways, we're starting out strong. Nestor is an A. Like, for getting into the Reignited trilogy and, like, showing off the fact that everybody got an update, yeah, that's a pretty impressive start. You're gonna have to do that. I like, in particular, the turnaround. I also like the fact that he's generally chill. Yeah, there's a lot to like about Nestor. I don't think he's one of the top ones, but yeah, considering what he is, good impression. I put him at an A. Alrighty. There's also a couple of things here that make it definitely the Reignited trilogy easier. Going back to the discussion about difficulty. There's a couple of things that were not in the original game that are included here, including, if I can get the move to point out correctly. There we go. Pressing the left stick will have sparks point toward the nearest gem, which actually wasn't included in the original. So that's actually a really helpful thing that they included in this one that was not present in the original. I'm going to save this one for last because I will be doing that thing last. Let's go over here. Down this way, there's our balloonist that we'll use to go to the next world. But we got quite a few areas over here to explore first. Such as being able to get over here. I should also be able to get all of the skill points that you see there that I just gained. They're just little things. Little extra challenges. Most of them are going to be stuff that was also in the original game as well, but a couple of them are also extra challenges, so we'll be able to do that too. Let's go here. Argus!
Cool flash. Do that again.
The artisan's boss is through a portal in the dragon mouth, but you are not yet ready, Spyro. First, you must complete one of the other artisan lands.
And Argus is going to be, fitting for his name, an A. I don't know why. The standard, like, it's a very common thing for, like, Western dragons to have a little, like, a pot-belly nature. And, yeah, I don't know why. I like that shape. I like that shape on a lot of these dragons. And Argus's color scheme helps him out. Again, not one that I consider, like, a normal, but it's pretty good. Not one that I consider, like, phenomenal, but it's pretty good. The other portion that I want to note is there's also a lot of, like, discussion as to which dragons are the leaders of particular areas, which is the dragons that you most often see involved in cutscenes, or the ones who are generally accepted to be the most, like, the heads of each area in this one. Mostly fanon, but I do want to point out that while Nestor and it typically, while the fanon consensus is typically it's the first dragon that you see, there's a couple of differences here, and the first of which is that Nestor's only appearance is that one time, where Argus is actually featured in a lot of stuff for 2 and 3. So Argus actually, for me, would be kind of like the leader of this area. Again, total fanon, but Argus is the representative that actually appears the most often. There's one or two other ones who also appear, who may or may not be it, but we'll get to them later. Tomas!
Hey, Spyro, press the jump button twice to glide. And don't be afraid.
Afraid of what?
Falling from high mountain peaks? Plummeting into prehistoric glaciers?
Oh, that.
So Tomas, I would give our first C. I don't know, I'm just not a fan of the feathered tail, and especially these spikes along the chin. That's just not a big thing for me. If I'm looking for the face, I want it to be a little bit more crocodilian more than anything if I was going to go weird facial design. So, yeah, I don't know. Argus is stuff like that, and stuff like that works. I also just not a fan of his particular yellow. It's just a hair too pale. Of his main scale color is just a bit too pale yellow. And then there's also the, I don't know, the goat horns look weird on a dragon. I would prefer a more standard spike, which has got plenty of them along the back, but yeah. Overall, I'd still say C. And this should be our final 3 here. Perfect. And now off to the final dragon. Delbin.
Where's Nasty Nork? I'll torch him.
Keep your horns on, Spyro. You have much to learn first. Do you know what the dragonfly following you is doing? His name is Sparks, and he's helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him and see what I mean.
Delbin's a B. He's a little bit too top-heavy for me, but that's pretty much it. I don't know. I just am not a fan of the whole broad shoulders look. I would rather they be proportional. As a matter of fact, Delbin looks more like a reverse Barbie doll figure, and I don't know why I don't like that. I don't like the original Barbie doll figure, though, either. Like, legitimately, I have a thing where I see a skinny character in fiction, and I'm like, why? You need food on you. Get in there! Anyways, you're not supposed to know about the platform thing until, like, sometime in the third world Magic Crafters, but I was aware of it, and now I do this every single time I go in here for Sunny Flight! Time flight level! Flight levels in this one are pretty easy. It's pretty much just nab everything. There's not any extra challenges or anything that you can do, that you can really do here. It's just collect everything. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to collect. As soon as it lets me. There we go. Now, there is a accepted course and a not accepted course. I'm going to go with the reverse of the accepted course, which is probably the not. There we go. Cool. I don't know why I've always done this one in reverse for a while. I thought it'd be a little bit faster. It turns out there's a couple of areas that are a little bit harder to get into or out of, so I think I like this way a little bit easier for navigation. It also leaves some of the easier ones for last. And gets the harder ones out of the way. The harder ones being the chests in that little, like, tunnel and opening there, which are only in that section. And the arches getting a full fly around. Whereas the other ones kind of are all clustered in this one area over here. Which means we can start, for example, going up to the plains. There's more. There you are. Counter the other way. You're too spread out. Oh, yes, and I forgot. Sunny Flight music is actually really cool, too. There we go. Yeah, so now all I gotta do is get the trains, and those are on a predetermined path. That's pretty easy. No supercharge in this one that you get in 2 and 3, but this is still pretty easy if you just fly the reverse direction. And it's going to cut off our little celebration a little quick since I'm in the tunnel. And I'll hit roof, but booyah! That is Sunny Flight in one go. Another thing that I tend to buck system is which level I will go into first. That being said, normal time, most of the time will have you go to Stone Hill. I tend to not like that one. I'm doing Dark Hollow. Right over here, in the hedge maze. I don't know why, like, my internet has been, like, shit lately for this. Why? Twitch. Or actually, no, I don't know who the bigger one to chastise at this point would be. Would it be Twitch or Spectrum? Because my settings have not changed, so I can only assume it's something on one of their ends. Like, that's who caused all the problems here. But I don't know who to blame more. Is it Twitch? Because, like, did Twitch do something in the background that just suddenly made my encoder go to shit? Or is Spectrum just a piece of shit who's not actually giving me the data that I have? Who knows at this point? But I'm going to blame both. Okay, these guys have a bunch of metal. Can't hit them until we do that. Or it should be that, big flame, metal, charge. Big and metal, you can't, find a way around them. Or find a way to exploit them. So like that. Oswin.
Spyro, wanna know a secret? Use the action button when you want to zoom in and look around.
Oh, your secret's safe with me.
Okay, Oswin is once again a dragon that has literally like only one failing to me, and that is his eyes are just a hair too big. Like, I mean, they're little like, his eyes are big, and then they're really, really small pupils, so he looks kind of crazy. But otherwise, I absolutely love his design with like a turban and everything. So, but yeah, that one failing, I'm gonna give him a B rank. Up here. I got a key down in that lower area where Oswin was, so I can use that to open the chest. Over here, this is the big guy, but he has no metal, so we can flame him. Metal, so we charge him. A couple of chests up here, and who's this? Alban!
Oh, it's you. I wasn't sure if you'd escape those annoying little creatures. Of course, they wouldn't bother me, but here's a hint. Their metal armor is fireproof, but a charge attack will take care of them.
Alban's the Sea! I am somewhat a fan of his serpentine design, but it also evokes more a sea serpent design, and he's living in a fully landlocked area. Not exactly what I would call appropriate setting. Also, for some reason, while I do like the serpentine design, his legs being up like halfway along his chest, or halfway along his body length, as opposed to all the way down to the other end. I don't know. If you're going to go that way, do full Eastern. Do full Eastern and put the legs down at the other end, too. With a little bit extra tail down there as well. Otherwise, he has a normal proportional body area, so it's like, what the heck are you doing? So we're going to call him a C. I do kind of like his design, though. I do like his color scheme, though. Purple with the periwinkle blue is very nice. Dark Hollow is not terribly big, so we were already encountering our final one for the area, Darius.
Big enemies like this Nork with a club cannot be charged, but a quick flame, that should defeat them.
I'd put Darius as an A. He's a pretty strong contender for it, too. I don't think he's a contender versus, like, Nestor or Argus for an S. But I do like his design. Again, he has the very much pear shape, which, again, fond of in the Western-style dragons like that. And, I don't know, the one thing that kind of detracts is his little tiny mustache, which, again, a lot of these dragons will weirdly have hair. That's, like, the closest, at least, to that I can find, so it's not terrible. And also, it does actually look quite dashing on him, so not terrible. Alright, Stonehill! As soon as I can get this guy. I get a little pearl now, since I already got him the first time. But that pearl, if I fill up that loop around my life count, will give me a new life. So, like, for example, this guy will give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a good addition to that little wheel there. Now we'll go Stonehill. I'm going to go ahead and do another water here. I'm talking a lot more on this one. Oh, I don't know why my thing is so bad. Like, I don't know why my streaming thing is crazy. Load, damn you. Alright, Stonehill. Primary thing is the goats. I thought you could only flame the goats, but no, you can actually go ahead and charge them. I thought they would have counted as a big enemy. I don't remember if they did in the original, but here, they are small enough that they can, as a matter of fact, be charged. So our first order of business is going to be to loop around the edge here of this one. I think I got everything, so now I'm going to head into the one over here. Basically clearing out areas that I can do without needing to backtrack first. There we go. Lindar.
free a dragon or step on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress. That could be useful if you run into trouble. Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
All right, Lindar's our first S. Pale blue with the yellow is... I actually kind of... Pale blue with the beige scales I like. I like his clock motif. His head's a nice thing. He's got a little bit of the pot belly in there, but he's actually relatively skinny for it, but I like that mixture of more serpentine features in there. At the same time, he's chill, he's cool, and I very much like his clock thing because it very much reminds me of Entropy from Crash Bandicoot. While not one of my favorite characters in that series, I do like the resemblance and shoutouts in there, and that adds to his little personality. So yeah, our first S. Astor!
After you've freed all the dragons, pass through this fancy vortex thingamajigger. It'll take you back to the artisan home. But first, let me tell you a story.
No thanks. See ya!
Alrighty, Nestor... Wait, Astor, not Nestor. Astor is our first D. I don't know, there's just a lot of the things with the older dragons that, while they do evoke the older ones, they also don't look the greatest. For example, I do not like the muted purple here, the muted pink purple here that almost looks gray on him. That's really the major failing, but yeah, again, I just don't like a lot of the older ones. There's one or two exceptions there that we'll definitely see later as being very, very high tier, but yeah, he's just a little on the weak side for me. Alrighty, down in here, now that I have the key from the cave on the beach, behind the the exit portal, by the way. And Gavin.
Watch the dragonfly, Spyro. His color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong, like me.
Sure.
Gavin's a C. I'm not a particular fan of him. I know he's one of the major ones that got mimetic when the game originally came out. Some of it I will say is exposure, but I also will say that, again, one, he's a little bit broad-shouldered for me. It's not exactly one of my favorites designs in this. The broad shoulder just isn't my thing. But there's a couple of other things I don't like. He's designed, obviously, off of, like, a hipster barista type, which, honestly, is at this point an overplayed stereotype at this point. I haven't ever seen, like, I've been to even, like, the indie coffee shops, and I haven't seen, like, a ton of that style around. And I live in Southern California, so that should tell you something. It's not as prevalent as you think it is, people. Now, maybe, of course, it's prevalent in other areas, but, like, for example, I've lived in Southern California all my life. I've been up to San Francisco quite a few times. The San Francisco area doesn't have that many around it either. So, yeah, just not as prevailing a stereotype as you might think. Moving on up here. Gildas.
Spyro, my friend, how about a hint on gliding?
You bet.
For the longest glide, press the jump button at the top of your jump, and try pressing the action button to drop down mid-flight.
Gildas will give a B. He actually is an upgrade from one of the original dragon who was there. It was still Gildas, but they basically made him so resembling Ord from Dragon Tales, who just irritates the shit out of me. That he is a massive improvement in anything. Like, if Ord's original design was in here, he'd be given a... If, like, frickin' Gildas' original design was in here, that would be... I'm chasing an egg thief, by the way. I'm trying to get close enough to him by cutting corners, and then I can flame him a little easier than actually hitting him. There we go. Also, I knocked out another skill point. There is a pink tulip that sits right here that you can flame, and that gets you the skill point. Anyways, Gildas' design so resembles Ord that if it was in here as opposed to the original one, just basically kind of a fat blue with a yellow belly, that would be receiving our first F. I don't think I can give him an F in this case, but his current design, little bit of a hunchback in there, whereas I like some of the other designs just a hair bit better. The blue is at least a little bit better this time. It's not so strictly reminiscent of Ord. There's a couple of... I don't know. I know that's a big, huge like thing in the furry thing, and it's supposed to be like a little bit better than most of the same era kid shows. But I don't know. I could never get into Dragon Tales like ever. Even when I was young of age for it. Where is our last one? We have to do... Occasionally, I will have to do what I call a gem hunt, which is there is one last gem remaining, and god damn it, it's hiding from me. Oh, there it is. I see a chest. There it is. But yeah, I know like Dragon Tales was extremely popular, both among furries, among scalies, and among just like general people of my cohort. Like it was generally considered like a relatively decent show in general. I could never stand it because of two characters, and that would be Ord and Cassie. I think it's the pink one. The only reason I could ever stand that show was whenever Quetzal appeared, who is a older golden dragon, who was just kind of awesome looking. And there'll be a couple of dragons who resemble Quetzal, which actually rank fairly highly here for me. So, yeah. Not a terrible thing. So, but yeah, but Quetzal was the only one that I could stand in that show. Alrighty, on to Town Square. We're already not very far off from finishing this one. Finishing this world, I should say. I might be able to get into Peacekeepers a little bit before I have to take a break. Oh, by the way, I think I figured out the scoring system for how I'm going to do this and give everybody a point value at the end, so we'll do that too. Bunch of chickens. Again, another thing, I can flame a bunch of them and they will eventually turn into a life if I flame enough of them. Alrighty. Wait, I just want to make sure. Yes, I did get everything. Cool. First one. Nils!
Welcome to Town Square, Spyro. Begin exploring by gliding to that area with the bulls. Use the right stick to get a good look.
Alrighty, so Nils is an A. Nils is an A. He pulls off the thing a little bit better. Oop, I gotta make sure I charge every one of these bulls here for a skill point. Charging, flaming will make them disappear. Charging gets their horns stuck in the ground like that. And I want their horns to get stuck. And we'll have to make sure to do that throughout the entire level, so yeah. Anyways, Nils, serpentine design, but his legs are a little bit further down his body, so they look a little bit better, and the serpentine design comes off a little better. He's skinny, but he's still not broad-shouldered. And he's also got the, while he's got a little bit of the whiplash, it's a little bit more refined and artiste than Darius's was, so I think he's a little bit on the A rank. He's not a contender for S, but he's up there. Devlin!
Thanks, Spyro. I had the worst itch on the tip of my wing. Did you know that you get your longest glides by pressing the jump button at the very top of your jump?
Devlin is the closest to Ord that we'll get here, and I think that's enough to give him a D. He's a D ranker. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't get into him. I can't get into Devlin. I know he's a baker. Baker usually has good connotations on a lot of things like that, but not here. Ow. Come on. Whoop, I see you hiding over there. And bonk. And away with you. I believe the Matador Norks can actually, like, swing and move out of the way, but they're terrible at doing so, so not a big, huge issue. Alvar!
Spyro, did you see a man dressed in blue running around here? He's a thief, and he's stolen a dragon egg. You've got to track him down and get that egg. Run, run! I'm getting a little winded.
Okay, Alvar's got 3 distracting things that put him as our first F rank. First of all, the tail spikes. They look weird. Why do they just like kind of spike up in the middle of his tail? They make his tail look like a fork and not in the right position considering they're all along the back line. Second of all, why does he have all of those little like dots down his chest line? Why are they there that look like a series of nipples down his fucking thing? And then I don't like his face. I'm sorry. The closest thing I can call it is pug-like. And I'm just not... I've grown on pugs a little bit over the years. But it's not my preferred face style, and it just looks too squat for me. So unfortunately, Alvar is going to be our first F rank. Not terrible, still enjoys the fact that his design is different from everybody else's, but I don't know. Personally, it annoys me. Bonk! There's our skill point. And there's our 200 for Town Square. And Thor.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. You can always check your progress by accessing the guidebook through the pause menu.
Thor, they actually gave a little bit of an extra. He's a D rank still. I'm not a fan of the older dragons, and he's also got way bit more of a hunchback than I would have expected. I'm also not a fan of the coloring on his plates and everything, but yeah, anyways. Thor, actually, they gave quite a bit more, because Thor was one of the original, thank you for releasing me, and then he goes away. Like, so instead of having a unique dialogue line, he just was like an old, like, okay, thanks, I'm out of here, type, and then left. Whereas they actually gave him a bit of information. The guidebook is technically still around in the original game, but they actually have him inform you that you can use it. And the guidebook also is structured a little bit between how 2's and 1's was, so I don't know. It's a little bit of an upgrade compared to how it was in the original, but both of them serve the same purpose. Tell you gems, any hidden items in there, like eggs or keys or anything, like eggs or anything like that, and inform you how many gems there were to collect. Very, very, very similar to, for example, when you go to 2, how many talismans there are and how many orbs there are in a particular level. We're gonna make a stop here real quick before I head into the actual thing.
Hi, Spyro.
And replay this dragon real quick, because Argus will actually have some different lines.
Cool flash. Do that again.
The artisan's boss is through a portal behind me. You can challenge him now, if you feel you are ready.
Yep, he changed. He tells you first that you're not ready and you have to do one of the other artisan lands, which I'm assuming they present to you as something of a tutorial before you get yourself smashed by a boss level right away. Most any other boss level is going to be available right off the bat. It's just going to be hidden at the very far end of the area, so we're probably going to still save most of them for last anyways. Otherwise, you get out of the way, Sparks. Otherwise, he's the only one of that does that because of that reason. No other dragon has a line that changes. Where Argus, yeah, you replay him, or you encounter him at a separate time, and he says 2 different things. So now on to the boss, Toasty. Confronting Toasty. And Toasty gets a big red hue. He's a pretty mimetic one. If you are playing this originally, this is a trophy to not get killed by him, or to not sustain any damage. Now, I do have a complaint instrument heading into Toasty's area, and that is that Toasty is... The dogs are actually a lot harder in this game than they were in the original. As you can see, I rolled out of the way, but this dog has pretty good tracking. And they take 2 shots to defeat, so they're not exactly something that goes away right away. In the original game, I could do 1 roll like that and be fine, from the dog's original starting position. In this case, the dog will track me, and I'll die as soon as I hit the end of I'll get hit as soon as I hit the end of that roll. So this time I have to do to make sure that I get enough out of the way. Or I could just walk and it's a lot easier. So we get in range, flame them, and then walk out of range. So they actually increase the dog's tracking on their flying jump, and it makes them a little bit harder to deal with by comparison. You can see I barely got out of the way, even at the walking strategy. And since there's not a lot of sheep around here to restore health with a dragonfly, or a butterfly for Sparks, that increases this area's difficulty by quite a bit. But otherwise, as you can see, with a good strategy, not too hard. And we got our last dragon for the Artisan's World right up here. Nevin!
Nasty Nork has put one of his most devious henchmen in charge of the Artisan World.
Bring him on. I think I smell a barbecue.
Be careful, Spyro. Toasty has many tricks up his sleeve.
Nevin's an A! Nevin's a B, sorry. Not an A. He's a B. He's a B. The main reason is, for some reason, I'm just not a fan of his double big chin. But otherwise, he's actually a pretty cool looking one. I kind of like the shape of his body. I also like his voice. That's one other thing I'll be incorporating into a lot of these, especially later on. His voice is outstanding. I don't know. I don't know. It tickles me in just the right way. Toasty is semi-mimetic because he is a psychotic sheep. He was also featured in a lot of the advertisements, both in the original version of the game and in the reignited version. While looking and scary and intimidating as a jack-o'-lantern, he is just a sheep on stilts. And while he can do a fair bit of damage to you and is relatively hard for a first boss, he's nonetheless the first boss of the game. And so, he's fairly easily defeated. It's the dogs, really, that are a bigger problem. Toasty doesn't actually get aggressive and attack very often. He mostly wanders around the field and then taunts you. He wanders around his field, he taunts you, and leaves most of his work to the dogs. They're the worst problem in this scenario. Alrighty, that puts us actually at the end of this area. We have fully 100% completed everything here. So, time to move on. That took us, what, 35 minutes?
Wow! I see you've been busy rescuing dragons, Spyro.
Every balloonist is an F because what the fuck is that voice? I hate it.
You may travel to the Peacekeeper's world if you like. Are you ready to go?
I'm gonna hit your head. Bonk. Mercifully, the balloonist is not encountered again immediately. Or they don't have as much dialogue lines once you encounter them once. They just kind of ask, hey, you want to go somewhere? And then you just bonk them on the head. Also very nice for my OCD because we have 100% completed everything. Hey, guess what? I don't have to go back there ever. They do make you do that in the other games with abilities and skills that you unlock as you go through. So you do have to go back later on. In later games in the series, Spyro 1, my OCD is very much satisfied because I can 100% complete a thing and never have to go back there again because I know that everything has been cleaned out. Anyways, Peacekeepers. And we already run into a dragon right away. Titan.
Welcome to Peacekeepers. Look how our treasure has been stolen and turned against us. Please, recover our treasure, Spyro.
Collect treasure. Got it.
Oh, yellow and gold with the black scales, and his actually very impressive hair around his head that looks like nice little ruffs. Titan's an A. He's not an S tier. There's a couple of S tier here, but he's not full S tier. Bonk. These guys will shoot their cannons at you, or you can shoot the cannons at them. I just like to run up and smack them. It tends to be a little easier. For a long time, the Peacekeepers actually was one of my favorite areas, maybe in the entire game. It's now split between this. It's actually now a three-way tie. We'll see if one of them ends up panning out with the dragon designs, but it's between this Magic Crafters and the Dream Weavers. I scared a whole bunch of orcs in tents by flaming one of the commanders, and then the rest of them went to hide. So that got me that one. But then you can flame them, and then they sometimes have a chance to moon, which I haven't shown off yet. Let me see if I can get one of them to do that in the next setup here. Let me flame the commander, though. Or the cannoneer. There he goes. Otherwise, they just kind of don't do much. Magnus!
Hey, Spyro. Sparks the Dragonfly has been doing a good job protecting you. Make sure to keep him strong by feeding him lots of butterflies.
Again, Magnus fits in the very much, he's a potbelly. He fits very much with the conception of Western Dragon that I like. There we go. It's kind of stuck for some reason. The bounding box is not the greatest here. As you can see, I'm kind of ahead of the ground when I'm standing right there, and I slide down at the edge. I don't know why they did that. That's like the one issue that I have. Despite looking that should be, you can see there's a kind of invisible wall stopping me. Anyways, Magnus, while he has traits of a sumo wrestler, I don't know. I just like big. That's the thing that I've had with a lot of characters that I've been making in my spare time lately. I have a thing for big. I don't know if I'd call myself full macro micro, but it's there. It's there. I can't deny that portion. Mostly with dudes, I should say. Mostly with dudes. Chicks can go either way. Chicks can go either way. Dudes kind of a little bit big. Again, that's the side of me that's of questionable. That's the side of me that is continually questioning what point of the sexuality spectrum I fall on. Okay, here's our flight level. Not too much I can do up here for right now. I just wanted to grab the gems. The yams. Give me the rabbit. Give me the rabbit. There we go. Alright. And, yep, thief. Egg thief. Oh, wow. That was quick. I didn't expect to get him that quickly. But we do get a key back here. Gunner.
Well done, Spyro. Keep up the good work, and I know you'll fulfill your destiny.
Destiny? I just want to kick some.
Just toast those enemies and collect the treasure.
Gunner, combination of top heavy, which I don't have, which I'm not particularly fond of, and he's also got those weird fucking teeth that don't look like they should be allowed to talk that way. Why is his bottom teeth that big? Like, actually, why are the bottom teeth that big? Sir, that is something that you need to get checked out, because I feel like that would prevent you from eating very well too. The logistics of those teeth astound me, and they also look weird. They make him look like a baleen shark, but you're clearly sharp enough that he's supposed to be a meat eater. Like, what the hell are you doing? Anyways, Dry Canyon. As I said, I have opinions. There we is. Okay, that bottle is finished off, so the next time I go to break, I might have to go grab a new one. Okay, Dry Canyon. This is when the levels actually start to get a little bit on the big side. Oop. This is when the levels start to get a little bit on the bigger side. So definitely we'll have more time to talk in between the ratings, such as while I'm chasing the Egg Thief. So the main reason it's been a while since the last time I streamed, I work retail, I mentioned this before, and I do what's called inventory. Inventory is basically, literally, count every object in store. Now, there's a couple of things that inventory does that make it annoying. The first is that it means I usually have to drive somewhere, which usually accounts to about the longest I've ever spent on the road to get from one location to another was 70 minutes. So a little over an hour and a half, about an hour and a half actually. When I had to go to one of the desert cities one time. I live kind of closer by Los Angeles, and I had to go all the way out to Palm Desert, or the Palm Springs, the Palm Springs Palm Desert region. So that was actually quite a ways. Oh, we got a dragon. Conan.
What? Huh? Oh. Thank you for releasing me, Spyro.
Conan was one of the other old thank you for releasing me the old style thank you for releasing me dragons, but they upgraded him so that he's a little bit younger, and I also like his motif. Apparently he's supposed to have a little bit of reminiscence to Don Quixote, which I don't entirely get, but you know what? He looks cool. I do like his outfit there. So, yeah, I'll give him credit. He's a B. Anyways, so yeah, inventory requires that I go like driving like up to an hour and a half away. I had to do that particularly with the Cajon Pass this year. I had to go up to Apple Valley for one of them, so that was annoying. But it also means I have to wake up at 4 o'clock I have to be there at 4 o'clock in the morning, which usually means waking up at 2:30, leaving the house at 3, and driving there so that I can be there by 4 o'clock. It's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess, and something that is it's made me tired. That's one of the main reasons why I haven't, is because I've had just this like string of me as somebody who is a partial insomniac, suddenly having to deal with a whole bunch of early days where I basically have trouble sleeping. When I basically have trouble sleeping if it's anything before midnight. So yeah. Boris.
Dry Canyon rewards good gliders. You are a good glider, eh, Spyro?
I was born to glide.
Boris's combination of a rattlesnake tail that I don't know why you do that unless he's venomous, but it doesn't have any fangs, combined with, again, another pug-like face. He gets a C. He gets a C. He's not terrible, but he gets a C ranking. On that note, I also have a very, very amusing, interesting experience with a rattlesnake. I was one time walking along the paths by my grandmother's house, and I was unaware of it. It's about mid-evening, so sun's fairly low in the sky. I had a walking stick on and a dog with me. I accidentally hit the rattlesnake. I accidentally hit something soft underneath with the walking stick and heard a rattling sound underneath me. I knew exactly what that meant. That means I had stepped on a rattlesnake, and I bolted off in one fucking direction before anybody realized what was happening. Hey, guess what? I didn't get bit because I had smacked it on the head and apparently dazed it long enough that the only thing it could do was basically be like, hey, I'm walking here with its rattle. So thankfully I didn't get bit, but that is the closest I've ever come to one of those things, and I would rather not like to do that again. So guess what? Fuck you, rattlesnakes. I'll prefer you behind glass at zoos. Anyways. Maximus.
Incredible glide, Spyro. I thought I'd be stuck here forever with those ugly vultures standing on my head. Those birds might look tough, but they're pretty tasty. Flame broiled with a pinch of salt.
Maximus is going to be another C here. Once again, it's kind of the inverse of the Barbie doll anatomy thing. I'm not a fan of Barbie doll anatomy, and I'm also not a fan of people who are just a hit. I know that's a big, huge thing, but like for, especially in furries, the blueberry whole thing, like there's a whole bunch of people who like Violet Beauregard turning into a blueberry in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory did a hell of a lot for them. It ain't for me. I like big, but not that big. I like big, but not that big. And that's kind of where Maximus falls to me. He's not terrible with it, but in addition to that, with the throat sack like a frog, I don't know. It just feels like a weird design. Again, if you're into them, fine. I'm not opposed to anything like that. It's mostly just personal preferences. This is my ranking system, not any... This is my ranking system. I'm not saying any one of these is objectively best. I'm just saying I find these ones particularly interesting, or, in some cases later, hot. I'll totally admit that. Or at least for an Anthro character. Alright, throwing a couple of these out here. Because I gotta fly across. I did skip a dragon, but I just wanted to go through a couple of those other things first. Oh yeah, what do I got skill point wise here? Oh, it's nothing until Dr. Shemp, so we're good. Alright, one of the major ones is... Oh, yeah, I gotta go... So I have to go up here. And then glide over here, because there's a couple of things, plus a life. Very nice. Got another dragon in here. Ivor!
Is that you, Spyro? Are you the young dragon I've been hearing so much about? Ever since you were a wee puff of smoke, we've known,
You've known...
I forget.
Ivor, older dragon, bomb, weird color scheme, vulture looking. I don't know. I don't like him. He's an F. He's an F, and I don't also... I will say this. I don't also like the fact that they included the bomb with him, that they had him sneeze off. When they established with Spyro's idle animations that dragons will sneeze fire. Yeah, I don't know why they'd put that one there. Black comedy, maybe, but I don't know. It just feels weird. Went all through all the trouble of rescuing you, and then you're about to blow yourself up. Doesn't feel right. Okay. We are heading back to Peacekeepers, and I am close to the hour mark, but I think what I'm going to do is head for Night Flight and do the flight level real quick. I will have to also bunny myself. You get out of here. And Night Flight. Similar to Sunny Flight, but this one I will follow its pre-established path. Which is going to be starting out with the rings. Going into these treasure chests. A little bit of a sharp turn there, but nothing too bad. Whoop. Kind of landed on that one, which didn't do very much, going into the arches. Gonna be a little bit more tight time-wise. Anytime it gets below 10, it does the beeping as the oh god, you're running out of time. As I go into the lighthouses. Crap, that was bad. It feels like it's going to be a close thing, but I think I'll make it. Flame the fairy, just for fun. Booyah! And now we get our little celebration. 117, so still faster than the other one. Alrighty, we still got 2 more main levels here. Yeah, I was like questioning, wait, is it 1 or 2? It's like Clifftown and what? Clifftown and what? Damn it, remember. Let me clear some of the enemies out of the way, and then I will pause right in front of our next one. And then we're going to take a break for right now so I can also refill my water bottle. So yeah, I will be right back, and we will continue our ratings.